live session with me, Claire Braund, co-founder and CEO of Women on Boards. Today, we're going to be talking about personal career management. Are you taking a strategic approach to your career, or do you just wander through it and let happenstance take its course? Do you know how to map out your plan on a page? And do you have a compelling career narrative, particularly in these times when it is quite competitive to get those high-profile jobs, particularly in senior leadership, board and large management roles? The Women on Board's Personal Career Management Program is designed to help you continue to be successful and purposeful as you continue to make career choices moving forward. It offers a rare opportunity to learn with an engaged cohort of others to really help you develop your understanding of what matters most in managing your career from a strategic perspective, to craft your unique career narrative, because it is a unique career narrative. There may be hundreds of thousands of accountants in the world. There may be hundreds of thousands of engineers and teachers and musicians and all sorts of different people. But nobody has quite your pathway. Nobody has quite your background. Nobody has your experience. So what is unique about you, and how do you put that on a page? And more importantly, how do you use what you know and understand and have experienced to then plot the direction that you really want to go for the next part of your career? So you may be in a mid-career stage and thinking, you know what? There must be something more to this. I actually want to take everything that I know and do, and I want to move that forward to something else. So we really need to think about that. You do have to be strategic. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that people who are more strategic will really benefit from really thinking through what they've done, where they are now, and where they want to be. It's a bit like driving a car. You can kind of drive off aimlessly out to west, or you can think, right, I want to be at, Dubbo on the first night, and I then want to be at Broken Hill on the second night, and I then want to be at Adelaide. So you have to plan something. And many of us plan things in our jobs. Many of us plan things, of course, we're really strategic when we're planning things across our careers, but we're not thinking about it from a really strategic type of perspective. So there's a lot of people who've done PCM. I think we've got an alumni now across probably 4 or 5 years of this program that are really kicking goals. So they're really starting to be able to achieve a lot within their own lives. They're being able to say, I've been approached for a particular job. In fact, one of the 2023 participants was speaking to me recently, and she said, I was offered this job and I thought, oh my gosh, this is so great. And then I looked at my plan on a page and I went, what am I doing? This is not for me. This is not where I want to go. And so that's really flattering to be offered something. It's really not strategic for me to be taking this step now. So she turned it down. But had she not done personal career management and had she not mapped her plan on a page, she probably would have taken that job and found out that she was a square peg in a round hole. So, you really don't want to be able to be drifting into the next available opportunity, but sort of grabbing the reins and taking a far more strategic approach and far greater control of your career. Now, I'm hoping today I'm going to be joined by Kathryn McDonald, who was a participant on the 2025 program, about how she used PCM to assess her options, to clarify her goals, and map out a strategic path forward. So we're talking to her. If she comes online, we may be having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, we are, Claire. I'm just trying to get Kathryn. She says she's in the waiting room, but I can't see her. So
I think she might be in the Google Meet waiting room, not in the waiting room of Restream.
Maybe, yeah. Oh, here we go. Here comes Kathryn.
Brilliant. So we have got Kathryn. Apologies for that minor technical hiccup. Here she is. Brilliant. Lovely to see you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Sitting in the waiting room, must have wondering if you're ever going to get in. So I was just explaining a little bit about PCM with Kathryn and saying how you used it to deliberately assess your options, clarify your goals, map that strategic path forward, and how it came
Mhm.
for you very much at the right time. So I just wanted to say hi and thank you for joining us.
Hello.
And can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your career?
Sure. So I think probably the summary I would have for myself is I'm a curious problem-solving leader who likes creating compounding change. I studied as a chemical engineer and then moved into working in manufacturing at a major hazard facility, which meant I became really good at operational leadership, asset and risk management, as well as just working out how a whole bunch of things need to fit together. And I think taking that time at PCM to think about, well, what skills did I have rather than what I did was a really important part for me.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I know you had a really interesting background across really quite a strong sort of
Yeah.
technical type of sector, didn't you? Well, so that was interesting. So you would have had quite a lot of, was it quite a male workforce or was chemical engineering by then quite female?
So when I went to uni, it was about half and half. However, I moved into a business that was pretty much allied to oil and gas. And the time where I started, it was very male dominated and changed a little bit over the course of my career, but was still quite a male dominated industry at the end. So yeah, it's certainly been like challenging and interesting.
Yeah, well, I love that intro that you gave yourself straight off that one pager. I could hear that. I could hear that.
Yeah.
So why did you do the PCM program?
So I worked at a company called Quanos, and we had advance notice that the business was closing and my role, as well as everyone else's role, was ending. And so PCM absolutely came at the right time for me because everything, I knew that my future was going to be in a different industry or something potentially allied, but there was no place in Australia that did exactly the same as what we did. And
Mm.
so, with this impending change, I really wanted to take the time to um, make a deliberate choice. So rather than just say, I'm going to do something and something's coming along and I'm jumping on it, I really wanted to take that moment to be able to go, well, what do I want to do? How do I want to set up my career for the future? And what are my goals and plans? And be deliberate in that choice rather than just something comes along and I go, oh, well, that sounds interesting. I'll go and do that.
Yeah, wow. And what was your experience on the program, which you only did in 2025, so nearly 12 months
Yeah.
ago now?
Yeah. So I think that probably the first thing that really struck me was the cohort I was with were exactly the same as me. All were on the course for a particular reason, and that was because they were at a career crossroads. And I think probably what was my experience, I think it was really thinking about how you were deliberate in your choices and using your past and your present to work out what your future might be. And I think there are a couple of things that struck me. One was it was a chance to see what did other people think and value, because I picked up maybe a couple of points that I hadn't necessarily thought of, but thought they were so fantastic. I wanted to incorporate them into my plan. And then the other bit was it's time that is hard to put aside otherwise. So it's a really intensive effort, but having that created that space, I guess, to really think about, well, what do I want in a continuous kind of connected way. So that was fantastic. And then I think the other part that I really got out of it was it's no good knowing what you want to do. You've actually got to be able to communicate it as well.
Yeah, yeah, that is critical. Knowing yourself is
Yeah.
one thing, but telling others is a really important part of that
Yeah.
particular process. So, how did it benefit you? What did you learn?
So what did I learn? Very much was a really good reinforcement that being deliberate rather than just having things happen across your career is probably going to lead to a better overall outcome. And I think one of the activities we did very early on was to reflect on what our careers were and You get to write down, what are some of your key reflections from each one, very short dot point. And it suddenly twigged for me that every single one of them had, I really enjoyed learning, even if I didn't actually like that job.
Right.
And so finding something that was going to be challenging and allow learning was absolutely a key criteria. And if I didn't think I was going to be able to have that, that would be a very good reason not to take the job. And I think what else did I learn? So the very beginning introduction that I did about curious learner, curious problem solver leader and creating compounding change actually came from working out how to communicate what my value was. And I think it's so important to be able to articulate and bring life to your experiences, not just recite the accomplishments that you might have sitting on your resume. And I think the other thing I learned is this is absolutely just something that you need to do all the time. It's an evergreen document. You dip in, you dip out, you have a look. Maybe some things change in your life and you need to make an adjustment, but it's not something that's one and done.
Yeah, yeah, it's a really, really valid point. It's not a once and done. It's not
No.
a once and done. It's something you have to iterate constantly.
Yeah.
So tell me, what practical outcomes have you taken forward or applied in your career?
Yeah. So, as mentioned at the beginning, my role ended, and it was actually about this time last year that I finished up work for the last time with that particular company. And once I returned from a bit of a break and was ready to get back into it, it meant I had lots of meetings, coffee catch-ups, conversations with people, and feeling really confident about how to articulate my value and what I wanted was so helpful in going and having all of those conversations. And certainly doing it in a way that is a little bit different to everyone else, I think helps to begin an interesting conversation with people. And, one of the things that you drummed in, Claire, was making sure that you can know it so well and you've practiced it so often, it doesn't matter where you start in your pitch, whether you need to lengthen it, shorten it, etc. You just feel like you can, it's possible because you know the material really well. So that was really, really helpful. I think the other thing was that it allowed me to be really deliberate in my choices. So sometimes when you're looking for a role, it's not only what you say yes to, but what you should say no to. And this gave me such a fantastic framework and reference to be able to go, no, it doesn't actually meet enough of the things that I'm looking for in this next role. It's better if I put my time and effort looking for other opportunities or letting this one go through to the keeper. And I'm really happy to say that about 2 months ago, I started a new role, and it is very, very well matched to all the things I had on my one pager. Like, it's almost a perfect overlap, which is absolutely fantastic. And so I think taking that time to really learn about PCM and really think about what I wanted and be able to put it down meant I could test this role, which, to be honest, wasn't probably something in the first couple of months after I finished or even while I was working that I necessarily would have looked at. But I'm doing it now and thinking, wow, it's, a really great job and fantastic for all the things that I really hoped my next role might be.
What is the job?
So I'm working at Cleanaway as state manager post collections, and what that means is it's what happens to the contents of your red bin or the commercial equivalent when it's picked up. So it goes to transfer stations and landfills, and I look after 6 sites in total, one of which is the largest landfill in the Southern Hemisphere, as everyone loves to tell me. And you would not believe landfills are way more exciting than you might initially have thought.
That is fantastic. I am so pleased to know someone like you is in charge of what happens to my red bin in
Yeah,
hearing.
yeah.
So that's great.
If I can put a bid in, please do not put batteries in your red bin.
Okay,
There are
no
other
batteries
places.
in the red bin.
Yeah, absolutely. They do a
We've
lot
got
of
our own
damage.
special collection over here for batteries, which is great.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. You're also thinking about board roles too, aren't you?
I am. So this was also really helpful in being able to think about what did I want in my next professional role that would give me some skills and experience that potentially allowed me to move forward into board positions. So this one has a very strong P&L ownership, but also working with a lot of external organisations. And so it's certainly something that once I kind of, a little bit more time, bit more experience and understand this role a little bit better, that be starting to look for, okay, well, what opportunities are there to also add value in the board space.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Thanks so much for talking to us today, Kathryn. It's been wonderful to hear that experience.
Yep, no problem.
And as I said, wonderful job. It sounds fantastic. If 2026 is the year you want to be more intentional about your career, if you want to take the sort of steps that Kathryn has, then PCM does the structure, insights and support to help you be strategic. You've heard it from someone else and not just from us. And Kathryn's not the only person who's had this experience on this program. It is designed for women at multiple stages. It can be early, mid or later stages. They can be career crossroads, coming back from big overseas roles. We've had people who are ready to go into boardrooms, who are going to portfolio, many, many different applications, but just having clarity, confidence and a practical strategy really, really, really helps. The next program commences on the 29th of April in 2026. Actually, I think it commences on 28th of April. Scrub that. 28th of April with the online session, which is the intro session. The two critical days are 6th and 7th of May in Sydney. They are the face-to-face days. They are where a lot of the work that Kathryn talked about gets done and something that you really, really need to be part of. WOB chair and really significant expert across people managing talent, board chair, somebody's had a really, really big career in the executive space. Sheena Wilson takes the lead on that program and is also one of the coaches as well, because did I mention that you also get the 1 hour individual coaching as part of it too? So any of you who are interested in the PCM, please reach out. It's on the website. It'll be up after this live and I'm always very happy to take a call from anyone. So thanks again to Kathryn and enjoy your day.